Hundreds of Mexican federal police bearing shields and armor. But just as the migrants approached, the officers pulled back, setting up again 3 miles down the road and again retreating for the second time.
Por favor, escúchenos.
Mexican immigration officials pleading with them to register for asylum, but most kept walking.
Yeah, most walk right by. It's called wanton law breaking. True refugees fleeing oppression will encamp wherever they can away from their place of origin, which is dangerous. In other words, well, they'd stay in Mexico. On Friday, Mexico began registering hundreds of migrants, but most just burst past the barricades in flagrant violation of the law. Mexican police were also badly injured. Legitimate seekers of asylum, they must live in credible fear of government repression based on religious, racial, or ethnic identity. Home country violence and government corruption, as terrible as they are, and whether it's in Central America or anywhere else, are not sufficient bases for asylum, nor is the desire just to get a better job or live a better life, lest we in the United States be willing to welcome in hundreds of millions of people from across the globe, all on the U.S. taxpayer. So who are these migrants? Well, according to a Mexican newspaper, it's 14,000 in number, up from the initial 1,600 just last week. They're mostly working-age males. A far smaller number of women and children. You usually see them out in front. Many have friends and or family already in the United States, many of those illegal. Of course, they're impoverished with little to no English-speaking skills at all. They're from Honduras, Guatemala, and many from Mexico. Others, we don't know where they're from, and it's undetermined how many have documents at all, how many have health problems, or even criminal records. The president today told reporters to do some digging instead of just the gauzy, easy sob story reporting.
You know what you should do, John? Go into the middle of the caravan, take your cameras, and search. Okay? Search. No. Take your camera, go into the middle, and search. You're going to find MS-13, you're going to find Middle Eastern, you're going to find everything. And guess what? We're not allowing them in our country.
Well, one thing is clear. They know that there is protection in numbers, that if they flood the zone, they'll be able to overwhelm Border Patrol officials as they did in Guatemala and in Mexico.
The migrants on the bank of the Suchiate gasp and cheer as she is lowered to the raft. Si se puede, they chant. Yes, we can.
Does this sound familiar, Si se puede? Well, if it does, of course, it's because back in 2008, Obama, the candidate, actually stole that slogan from amnesty activists, I think here in the United States. Well, it's no wonder the mobile mob feels emboldened. After vowing not to allow them through Mexico, its police force is actually now providing an escort to the migrant caravan, if you can believe that. Now, does this sound like or look like something that most Americans think is a good idea? It doesn't matter where people come from, whether they come from Central America, Europe, any part of the world. If they come illegally, guess what? Most Americans think it's not fair. And Donald Trump knows this. Now, when he says he wants to stop this mobile mob, a lot of people calling it invasions, most Americans see it as not just an economic burden, and it is one, but a flagrant flouting of the rule of law as well. Of course, national security issues, health issues. And like Kavanaugh, it does come down to a basic sense of fairness. Not only would allowing this crush of people into our country be an insult to the millions of Americans who went through the legal process, how is it fair to those Americans who need assistance today and are not getting it? Like the 40,000 homeless veterans on the street on any given night.